It's really starting to feel like I'm taking crazy pills, dude. Like, I don't know what's going on here. Is the entire world experiencing some sort of mass psychosis? Because when the hell did literally everybody agree that Insomniac is now the worst gaming studio to ever exist and that all they produce is slop? Now, of course, if you don't know, what I'm talking about is Wolverine. We finally got a good long look at Wolverine, and it looks phenomenal. And all the early hype for the game should be leading towards a future where everybody is in belief that this game is going to be fantastic, because Insomniac has proven time and time and time again that they're clearly the only first-party PlayStation studio that's capable of releasing games, and when they do so, they're fun. They're great. Yeah, sure, Spider-Man 2 isn't the best thing ever, and I think realistically the story kinda sucks, but it was a fun experience, and Wolverine looks like it's taken that fun and putting it into a linear form factor, which is realistically what the game needs, and delivering an awesome, cool experience. But for some reason, every single person on the internet is claiming that this is the most absolute garbage AAA slop that they've ever laid their eyes on. And it's insane. They're saying Wolverine looks generic. They're saying that the actual design of the character looks like creepy and weird. They're saying that the combat looks boring. They're saying that the writing's going to be terrible and filled with nonsense. And apparently, everybody's just waiting for this thing to fail. But listen, I'm not saying Insomniac is above criticism. Like I said, I think Spider-Man 2 is incredibly mid overall. It's a fun game. The gameplay is fun, but I think there's too much in that game, and I think the story ultimately goes nowhere, and it does have kind of a lot of bad writing. But I do think this sudden influx of gaming discourse where people are just like completely rewriting history and claiming that Insomniac has never produced anything good and that Wolverine is going to be one of the worst games ever made is unreal, dude. Because we're talking about a studio that Sony bought for just $229 million, and within a year or two of being purchased, literally paid that back in multiples because of how well Spider-Man sold, how well Spider-Man Miles Morales has sold, how well Spider-Man 2 has sold. Obviously, I'm not claiming Ratchet & Clank there because, you know, that game didn't sell a lot, even though it's a great game. That's not what's pushing consoles. But it's clear that Insomniac knows what they're doing, dude. And now we're just supposed to believe that they suddenly forgot how to make a good video game? Like, what are we talking about, man? Are people just so ready to hate literally everything that we've lost our collective minds here? Like, I don't even understand what half I'm reading some of the times. Like, some of this shit is literally insane. Especially also, people have gotten their hands on Wolverine and everybody's saying that it's fantastic. There's a little bit of worry that maybe the combat isn't enough to carry an entire, 15-hour experience. But dude, come on, man. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a great time. But listen, before we decide to all claim that Wolverine is dead from watching a 5-second clip on Twitter, I think we need to talk about Insomniac, how we got here, what Wolverine looks like, and why the internet suddenly seems desperate for one of PlayStation's most successful studios of all time to fail. So if you don't know, Insomniac goes all the way back to 1994 when Ted Price founded the studio. They were independent for roughly 25 years. And the relationship with PlayStation stretches back to almost the beginning of the brand. Insomniac created Spyro the Dragon for the PS1, which became one of the characters most associated with early PlayStation and is still a beloved icon to this day. On PS2, they created Ratchet & Clank, another major PlayStation franchise, becoming one of PlayStation's longest-running characters. For PlayStation 3, they stepped it up again and launched Resistance: Fall of Man and built an entire franchise out of that. Then they did a little detour with Xbox with Sunset Overdrive, which everybody who's played it absolutely loves that game. Unfortunately for me, I got to the very end of that game, and then I had like a save bug or something like that, and I couldn't access my save file. It would never load. I was just in a continuous loop of loading. Couldn't finish the game, had to restart the entire thing, which caused me to drop the game, and then honestly I never went back to it, but I really should because it was really fun, a really solid good game. If you haven't played it, you should. Sunset Overdrive rules. Then in 2016 they did a reimagining of Ratchet & Clank for the PS4, which sold roughly 7 million copies. In 2018, they released Spider-Man, which sold millions upon millions of copies and was part of the big reason why PlayStation bought them, an acquisition that was around $229 million. In 2020, they released Miles Morales, which was a massive game that sold millions upon millions of copies that completely recuperated the cost of their purchase. Then they did Rift Apart, which was also a fantastic game that not enough people played, but it was really cool, and realistically, you probably should play it if you own a to PS5. Actually, it's on Steam too, so you can play it there. Great game. 2023, they did Spider-Man 2, which sold 2.5 million copies in its first 24 hours, which made it the fastest selling PlayStation game at the time. And it surpassed 11 million copies just a year later. It's clear that people love Spider-Man. I mean, the sales have even gone up with the release of the new movie. Personally, the movie, I haven't seen it yet, but it does look very cool. But the game, while the combat's good, while the traversal's good, while the graphics are good, it felt too similar to Miles Morales to me in terms of like a slight upgrade. And the story was just really not hitting for me, dude. Really not. I didn't think a lot of the writing choices were good. And I think just the overall arc of the characters, not great. Not a great game. Wasn't in love with it. And now in 2026, they are taking Wolverine, and instead of making it silly, they're making it real, dude. This is the Wolverine that people have been waiting for. Insane violence, gore, blood, swearing. This is the real Wolverine game that we've been waiting for. And for some reason, everybody is out here claiming that every single thing about it is fucking trash, dude. But literally why? Because think of the games that I just listed, okay? Spyro, Ratchet & Clank, Resistance, Sunset Overdrive, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Rift Apart, Spider-Man 2, Wolverine. How could you make so many good games, banger after banger after banger? And then you're just gonna be like, nope, they suck. And these also, by the way, are people who probably haven't even played Spider-Man 2, who might have even not played Ratchet & Clank. Even me, I'm hyped as shit for Wolverine. I think it's gonna be awesome. I didn't love Spider-Man 2, but this is something completely different. My problems with Spider-Man 2 aren't related to any of the things with Wolverine, because a lot of those writing choices, a lot of the dialogue choices, a lot of the combat stylization choices that I didn't like from Spider-Man aren't there in Wolverine, because with Wolverine, they're allowed to open it up. And by open it up, I mean, Wolverine can say, fuck you. Wolverine can make people bleed. Wolverine can be as intense as he wants. And that's how Wolverine should be. They don't need to dumb it down. They don't need to make it E for everyone. That's not Wolverine. And they're not doing it with this one. So what I really want to know is why? Why do people look at this and just completely lose their minds? And a lot of it stems for some of the dumbest things that you've ever seen in your entire life, dude. For example, this guy Blue Thunder on Twitter posted this 30-second clip saying, here's your first look at some of the movement and traversal in Wolverine during a rooftop chase scene with the hand. And it shows Wolverine chasing this ninja looking guy. And there's a red trail of like dusty smoke, which I guess is like Wolverine's scent or something. Even though realistically, it does look like the trail is actually ahead of the ninja. So it wouldn't really make sense that it's like a scent trail because it's clearly in front of him and the ninja seems to also be chasing it. So it almost really looks like that people are just judging this for no reason. There's people claiming that, oh, it's a run in straight line game. Oh, it's a use your like scent game. This tweet has 17.5 million views. Everybody is looking at this. Everybody. And everybody is judging it. This small segment is causing people to lose their fucking minds, dude. Logan, remember to use your adamantium vision to sniff out his trail of Wolverine TM particles. 1 million views on that. The enemy leaves a red trail so you never lose him. These games are made for game journalists, women, and homosexuals. Almost 1 million views on that. 34,000 likes. You gotta use your snicked points to upgrade your bub vision. 200,000 views. You can't develop something like that for PS5 in a big 2026 because it looks like his claws aren't touching the thing. Like the amount of nitpicking that people do on things like this these days is crazy. I don't get how games like this cost $300 million in 5 years to make. Most of the design is copy paste and that's the meat of the game. They aren't building their engines from scratch. Graphically, it's nothing we haven't seen before. Where are the resources going? I mean, a lot of it comes down to just like, you do stuff like this to make it look as high quality and as good as possible. And then people just point it out and be like, waste of money. And then if you don't do that, people are like, where's the fucking, how come when I walk, the leaves don't blow in the wind from me walking by them? Fucking trash game, AAA developer, can't even do this right? It's like, no matter what, people are unhappy. Listen, I like Legendary Drops, okay? I think Legendary Drops has a lot of good things to say. I think he's very critical of things that he should be critical of, but I also think he's overly critical of things that he shouldn't be critical of, and that he's basically, sometimes it feels like he's saying things just to appease an audience. And what we have, for example, there's a clip going around of Halo Campaign Evolved, which is a really fun, good game. It's not as good as the original Halo, but it's a good game. It's a good reimagining. In Halo Combat Evolved, when you walk on the sand moves, which is something that's built into Unreal Engine 5 that you can implement with the click of a single button. People are looking at that, like Legendary Drops, and is saying like, people have forgot how to make games. They're too focused on bullshit like this, and they forgot about making a game actually good because all they care about is like, look at the sand movement. But I guarantee if you have like Wolverine walking through the world and he walks into a puddle and the puddle doesn't ripple, people will be like, you spent millions of dollars and the puddle doesn't ripple? Like, you know what I mean? So that even happened with Spider-Man. An early look at Spider-Man games, there was a rooftop scene and one of the puddles had like a good reflection. And then later on, the reflection was gone. And people lost their fucking minds, dude. It's like people are just like in a nonstop cycle of wanting to hate literally everything. And I think those people need to shut the fuck up. And like, you even have the director of community of marketing at Insomniac. I think the wild way this algorithm amplifies and forces negativity upon you has me reconsidering my philosophy on telling devs to look or post here. It's a relentless onslaught that I cannot believe is good for anyone's mental health nor representative. Yeah, dude! People have lost their fucking minds. It's crazy, man. What happened to the days where people were just excited about games? Why does everybody want every game to fail? Why does everybody claim that every writing choice makes the character DEI or woke? Why does everybody suddenly care that like, oh, they have a writer that's a woman on their team? That must mean that they hate regular gamers. That must mean that they want the game to fail on purpose because they're trying to push a narrative. Are you taking crazy pills? And if so, where did you get them? And if so, can you get a fucking refund, dude? Because you got issues, man. What kind of world do we live in? Like, legitimately, why do these? It really feels like most of the people who are claiming that they're gamers or who say that they like games do not play games. And they don't even like them, man. Maybe they liked them 15 years ago when was the last time they played a game. And since they haven't played a game in forever and they look at these new games, they're like, this is fucking garbage. There's no games. Every game sucks. Buddy, if I went on your Steam profile, you haven't played since fucking Half-Life 2 came out. So maybe you should shut the fuck up, right? Maybe you should just shut the fuck up. And then things like this. I really hate how homogenized gaming has become. Why does Wolverine look like God of War, Spider-Man, Star Wars Jedi, and Phantom Blade Zero? They all look the fucking same, man. This one has less views, but it's starting a conversation where people are just like using it to nitpick every single possible thing. And this clip, dude, this clip is one of the most outrageous, okay? Wolverine is talking to Sabretooth. He jumps out of this plane and he gives middle fingers with his claws, okay? And people are losing it. 13 million views, 11,000 bookmarks. This version of Wolverine is a heckin' badass. Who needs a middle finger when you have a middle claw? I can't wait to play this while my wife gets fucked in the other room. 1 million views. We need to permanently ban millennials from writing games. Holy Reddit. I cannot wait for the death of millennial writing. There's a brief moment where he gives off a look where you can literally see the phantom of the writer patting themselves on the back going, that's going to be so epic. People are going to upvote like crazy. I just don't get it, dude. I don't get it. Here's the other thing too. People at the end of the day will say, it's just Twitter. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. But I'll tell you what, dude, Twitter's pretty fucking big. And the internet is pretty fucking big. And people's voices carry across it like never before. And people's opinions carry across it like never before. And people's opinions really influence other people. And I can see shit like this getting picked up by huge content creators that will just dogpile on this, dude. And people won't buy it. And it'll affect the sales. And yeah, you know, to me, it's like, you know, whatever. I don't work there. If it doesn't sell a lot, that sucks for them. It really does. I'm going to play the game. I think people should play the game. It looks great. But I don't think stupid shit like this should be affecting the game at the end of the day. I don't think stupid shit like this should be what people are focusing on at the end of the day. That's why I'm calling it out. I'm calling it out not to really draw attention to it. I'm calling it out to basically be like, if you are one of these people that just thinks everything fucking sucks, and that you're one of these people that you look at a 10-second running clip or that this combat clip and people are like, oh, look, this whole section you just hold forward. Or like in this section, look, the guy's just spamming one button to do all these attacks. Buddy, have you ever played a fucking game? Have you ever had fun? You ever had fun? Because it seems like you don't know how to have fun. And then people like, all these games look the same. Yeah, because they perfected how to do combat. So a lot of games are going to have very similar feeling combat. Traversal. What do you expect to happen when you're running straight and explosions are going off you? It's trying to be like a technical showpiece. What do you want to do during that? Because if they told you like, you know, you press X to jump over this, or you press triangle to do this, people will be like, oh, it's just an interactive cutscene. So again, the complaints come up. No matter what these developers do, there will be fucking morons who claim that every single thing about it fucking sucks. And I think it's time that even the developers should honestly just come like this. The director of community and marketing Insomniac, James Stevenson, I think instead of posting something like this saying like it sucks that there's so much negativity and stuff like that, at this point just come out and be like, hey, all you fuckers, shut the fuck up because you're stupid as fuck. And if you think the game is gonna be shit, don't fucking buy it. That's it. That's literally it. I think it's time to start telling morons that they need to shut the fuck up. And it's time to start telling people that actually are using their brains to look at something and go like, yeah, this looks awesome. Tell them great. I think there needs to be more pushback. Wolverine looks awesome. A lot of the games coming out this fall look fucking awesome, dude. If you're gonna sit there and say that everything sucks and everything looks bad, don't play. Don't speak. Just go away. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching.